afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the podcast, Breaking the Silence Together. My name is Jeannie Perez, and I am the founder of You're Not Alone. It's a mental health addiction organization helping and supporting individuals struggling with mental illness or struggling with some type of addiction. My podcast is about talking about mental illness and addiction. Our episodes can be raw for some people that might be sensitive to different things that you might hear. I'm just going to say the truth. We don't sugarcoat anything in our podcast. And it's basically what I bring up in our podcast or what our topic is about. It's something that either I dealt with or I helped a client with, or it was brought up to my attention in my community, or someone just got a hold of me and said, can you talk about a little bit about this situation that I'm having, and I'm just trying to get more information. And I'm going to bring it up in the topic, because if I can help one more person with the same thing I helped another person, that's a win. And that's why I do these different topics in my podcast, and that's just hoping to be able to help someone else that might be listening to the podcast. It might be something that they're going through on a daily basis, or they might know someone that's going through this, and this might be able to help them help that other person. So today I'm going to start out my podcast a little different because of the topic. The topic is the traumatized brain and why you just can't get over the traumatized that you have stored in your brain. And you just can't move forward. You're in a standstill, what we call the survival mode stillness. And the reason why we call it the survival mode stillness is because your brain has put you in a survival mode, but you feel paralyzed. You're still in a stillness when it comes to this traumatized either situation or whatever it is that you're storing in your brain. It continues to affect you on a daily basis. You're in a standstill. And because of that, I know that this is going to resonate with a lot of people. I know this is going to hit home with a lot of people. Not with them directly, but them knowing someone that's dealing with this. Because again, like I said, mental illness and drug and addiction is so high. I mean, so many people are dealing with this. So many people. So I'm just hoping that I'm able to help someone today with this podcast and some information that I'm going to give. I mean, I wish that I can sit here all day and just explain different things and really get into things, but reality is I try to put a lot together within the 30 or 45 minutes. Because sometimes some people's brain, sometimes people can't sit still longer than 15 minutes. But I'm hoping that maybe if they can't sit still and listen to this, or get where they can't focus no longer while they're listening to my podcast. At least my podcast is out there. We're on all major platforms. It's on my website. You can always rewind wherever you stopped at. But at least it's out there. The information is out there. And I know that even if someone has to keep going back and forth on my recording, they'll be able to get the information that they need. And that's the cause and that's the reason for this podcast. So with that being said, I want to start out today with a little pause. Like wherever you are right now, whether you're standing, whether you're sitting, and the situation of you feeling numbed, the situation of you feeling like you're in that traumatized standstill. I ask you to just do this breathing with me. Let's do this together today. I just want to start out like this because I know that because of that survival standstill mode that you've been in so long, I think this little breathing method is going to help you. Or if it's not you, at least you can learn how to do this pause thing, and you'll be able to do it with someone else to help them get out a little bit of this standstill. It's just a little tool that I figured I can do now before I even get into our conversation. And that's just, you just put your hand over your heart, and I just want you to breathe in and say, I am safe now. So just breathe in. If you have to close your eyes, just do it, but really mean it. like, I'm safe now. Like, I want you to feel that in your heart, that you are safe now wherever you are right now. And then when you're exhaling, I want you to exhale slowly and say, I am not broken. Remember, inhale, I am safe now. And you're going to exhale slow, I am not broken. Okay? And notice sometimes it might take a little longer. You might need another, instead of the fast 1 or 2 minutes that I did with you, you might need 5 or 10 minutes, or just do it as often as you need to throughout the day. Just so that you can get yourself in that comfort zone without being in a standstill that I know that the nervous system has you in, because you have stored this into your brain and now your nervous system has taken over, and it has you in a standstill. However, I know that a lot of us, that once we get into this standstill with our nervous system, we want to blame ourselves for every time we overreact. You might have been having a conversation with someone, or you might have heard something or seen something, and you just overreacted without thinking, because right now you're in such a tight spot. You're putting yourself in such a tight spot with your nervous system, and you're like on edge for any little thing. Your anxiety is on high right now. Your nerves are just all over the place. Your mind's all over the place because you're stuck. You're stuck with this, you're traumatized. You're stuck with it, and you just can't get over that feeling. You can't get over those thoughts. No matter what you're trying to do on a daily basis, you still have those thoughts just running through you, just running. Like you're actually feeling like you're running out of your body. And it's normal. You're not alone. This is just something that happens to us when we store too much. We overload our brain with things that happen to us in our life. We just continue to store it. And because of us storing so much, and I've said this over and over, our bodies, our brain can only take us so much. And because you come at a lot, like right now when you when you're in trauma and you store that over and over, those thoughts, whatever happened to you, whatever was said to you, whatever was done to you, you store that. And it's like a sponge. It continues to absorb everything you think, and you just freeze it in your mind. It'll continue to take that like a sponge, but the sponge will overflow. And when that overflow starts, that's where the nervous system starts kicking in, and it tries to protect you, and it puts you in a standstill, what we call a survival standstill. You're no longer able to leave from what you're feeling. You're stuck there. So, whatever it is that you put back there, you're in a standstill because your nervous system now kicked in, and is taking over. So you're actually now in survival mode. So every time any little thing might make you overreact, snap. You might start arguing with people for no reason. You might start shutting down for no reason. You start isolating yourself for no reason. And a lot of us, when we do that to ourselves, we start asking ourselves, like, what is wrong with me? Am I something wrong with me? Am I crazy? What is wrong? I can't understand why I'm doing the things I'm doing. I must be crazy because I can't function. I can't even sit and talk to such and such without overreacting, or I can't do this without screaming, or I can't do this without feeling like I'm going around in circles and circles, like I'm still, like if I'm in a standstill, but I'm just going in circles. And I want you to tell you that, no, you're not crazy. It's not that you're crazy. It's not that you don't know what to do. It's not that you don't know how to do something. It's not that you're losing your mind. It's that right now you're in trauma. And a lot of us think that sometimes when we start taking our medication, that our therapist, and I'm not saying don't take it because you need it. Whatever your plan has been put in place for you, I want you to continue to do that because it's in place for you for a reason, because you need it to heal. But what we need to know and realize that even though we're doing whatever was told to us to do, if we have a professional dealing with a professional and a plan has been in place for us, sometimes, our healing looks different. So we might feel as though like, wow, I'm still doing this, I'm still talking about it, but I'm still snapping. I can't get over this. Like, everything still bothers me. Like, I'm still thinking about this all day long. I go to sleep thinking about it. I wake up thinking about it. Yes, I get it and I understand it. And unfortunately, it's something that you might have to deal with a little longer until you start putting different things in process. Even though you're trying to get help and you're still trying to heal, but you feel as though you're still stuck, you're still in a standstill because your your brain is healing slow. So even though you're healing and you're going through the process of getting the help and you're trying to get your life back together where you can function on a daily basis, yes, I get it. What's going on right now is that your brain is healing. And as it heals, like I said before, you're not going to heal overnight. You're not going to be the person that you're trying to reach overnight. So because of that, our nervous system has been trying to put you in survival mode for so long that it continues to protect you on a daily basis until you start feeding it more of, instead of feeding it the frozen part of the trauma over and over in your brain, and you start feeding this other good energy into it with your healing, with whatever you're doing on a daily basis, with your plan that was put in place, whether it's going to therapy on a daily basis or whatever it is that you're doing to heal, until your brain starts realizing that that's what you're in a healing process. Your brain slowly is going to continue to feed out to your nervous system the trauma and the survival mode. So, that's why I said to a lot of people, you're in a standstill. Yeah, you might feel like you're in a standstill right now because you feel as though like your emotions are not changing. Your habits are not changing quick enough for you. You're not seeing the results quick enough because you're still feeling the same way every day, even though you're taking your medication or you're doing your treatments, you're doing your meetings, you're going to your meetings. No matter what you're doing, you still feel as though you're in a standstill. And unfortunately, our bodies, are built on our nervous system. Our brain controls us. Everything we do is controlled by our brain and our nervous system. So once your nervous system is put into a panic, it's put into a froze. Like your nervous system was trained because of the trauma. Your nervous system was trained to protect you. And the way that it does that is, again, it puts you into a survival mode. And it has to be trained all over again to loosen up that survival mode until you're away from that panic, stillness, survival mode. And it takes time. The same way that it didn't do it overnight, your brain storing all this overnight and the nervous system being affected and kicking in because of the overload, it didn't happen overnight. So the part of you healing from that survival mode, that stillness mode, is not going to happen overnight. And I just thought it was so important to really bring this out today on a topic because, I was talking to someone and they just felt as though that before they really, really started feeling healthy again, what was bothering them the most was the stillness. It's like he said to me, like, I understood what I was, like, I did and I didn't understand what I was going through every day because I felt as though I wasn't getting better. That's what he said. I wasn't getting better. I knew I was getting the help. I was going to AA, because the person I was talking to was getting healed from an addiction. He didn't have a mental illness. He had an addiction, but they both come together because even though your diagnosis is because of you being addicted to something, the whole chemical imbalance in your nervous system still kicks you into some type of mental illness because you start getting depressed when you're, withdrawing and you're trying to come off of your addiction. Some people start getting depressed. They start getting anxious. So those two things come together with certain things that people are trying to get healed from. So he's in recovery for addiction. But when he started going through his changes in life, during his healing process, he started falling into what he called a slight depression because he started feeling life a little more. When he was getting high and doing the things that he was doing, he was fading away from life. And then now that he's no longer using everything is really hitting him. Like life in general is really hitting him. Now he knows what life really feels like on a daily basis, his responsibilities, what he's supposed to be doing to really live this full life. So, he was telling me that at the beginning. He was like, Jeannie, like, it took me a long time. Like, yeah, I was healing, I was in recovery. I wasn't getting high, I wasn't drinking. I was going to my AA meetings. He had to get put on some medication for his anxiety. But he said even doing all that, for a little bit of time, he was stuck. Like, he was in this survival mode, like he was on pins. He said it felt like he was just on pins all the time with everything, because it just felt like he was in a standstill, like he really couldn't adapt. I think that's more of the word he was trying to tell me, was like he really couldn't adapt to this new life, this new world that he was seeing bright in front of him, that he had faded away from for so long. Like, it was so hard for him to adapt to it. And he said because of that, he felt like he was in a standstill, like he was still trying to figure out, not just figure out what he was doing on a daily basis or what his responsibilities was, and to follow to get healing and continue his recovery healthy, but he was just trying to figure out like who he was now. Like he said, he was trying to figure out who he was now. Like, he was this other person for so many years, with this addiction, that he said to him on a daily basis, he was just fading away. Like, he had no responsibilities, because all he was worrying about every day was getting high. So he didn't see life in this other way that now life is approaching him. So, he said, I'll be honest, I was scared. He was scared for a long time. Like, I didn't know was I going to be able to make this, was I going to be able to live this life, Jeannie, because it was like hitting me so fast. Like, he said, I didn't know what to do. He said, I know I didn't never want to get high again. He said, I knew that. Like, he said, I knew I'd come way too far. I didn't want to get high no more. I don't want to drink. He said, I knew that part. He said, Jeannie, I just didn't know how to wrap my hands around this new life. He said, I'm happy. He said, I'm very happy. He said, I love life. He said, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I don't want to live. He said, I just don't know how to live in this new world. He said he just didn't know how to live into it. It took him time. He said it just took him, continue going to his meetings, talking to people. And he said he just hit the ground running. He just did whatever he had to do on a daily basis. He said, I found a job. He said, I wasn't even working for a long time. He said, I started a job. He said, it was kind of hard even doing that, but he said, I didn't give up. I kept going to work. I did what I had to do. Finally, it fell in place. Unfortunately, he had lost a lot of contact with loved ones. So he started reaching out to them. That started coming in place. He said that felt funny at first, too. Didn't really feel like they were family like they were at one time. He said, I had to build that back up. That was kind of weird. And just learning who I was. Like he said, it was just hard just learning who he was, all over again. This person that faded away years ago, he was trying to bring back in, and he was just trying to figure himself out. Like he said, I didn't even know who I was for a while. Like, I really had to figure out who I was, because that other person that I'm healing from, I don't want to be that person. I know who that person is because I was that person for so long. He said, but it took me a long time to figure out who I was, Jeannie. And he said he heard me talking this one time to someone else. He said I had came out to one of the meetings that someone from our community. He said that I had came out to one of his meetings to talk. Because I do that. I go out with my team. We go to some meetings in the community. I try to go to them every once in a while, then whenever I can, just to see what's going on. And if I can, talk to someone and help them out, we do. So we go to the meeting. So he said he heard me months ago. He said it was in the winter time, I guess, when I had first started our organization. He said I went out to one of the meetings, and he just heard me talking to someone, talking about, that we have to really, he said it just really, he said I couldn't get it out of my head when I heard you saying that we really need to really learn who we are within ourselves before we can expect anyone else to really figure us out or make any sense of us. We have to know who we are first, before we even ask for help or before we even tell someone else, look, this is what's going on with me. I need to know the root of it. so that I can get to the root and get the help that I really need. It's going to help me with the root of it. Not the surface, but the root. And he said, I heard you say that to someone. I just couldn't get that out of my head, Jeannie. And he said, you might not really think that you're helping anyone, because a lot of people are not coming straight out to you and saying, look, you really helped me, or your organization has really helped me. And he said, but I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't reach out to you right at then. He said, I took that in. I helped myself out with that statement that you said to someone that I know. And I just started doing that every day, trying to find out who I was, But that really helped me today. And he said I had to reach out to you. He did. He reached out to me through my website. He actually texted me on my chat. And we had a conversation. He's in my community, but he's kind of distanced from us. So he's not where I can, he's not one of my clients. He's just someone that joined our community because we touched him in a certain way that really healed him. But it's not someone that my team has been working with. But it is someone that seen us at one of the community meetings, and what he had heard me say to someone else really, really took to him, and he practiced it and he did it, and it really helped him. And he reached out to me the other day, but he said this happened a couple months ago. But he just really, really needed to get a hold of me, and he's got my website from someone else that he knows, and he went in and he texted me through my site and just telling me that. And it really just touched me because, like I said, even the littlest things, if I'm helping someone, it's a win. And just to know that he was just lost, not lost because he was healing, he was recovering, he was going to his meetings, but he was lost in the point where he still was trying to figure out who he was in this new world that was brought into him now because he's in healing, he's in recovery, he's seeing life in a different way. And just a couple simple words that I said to someone else really helped him find that. And I just thought that was really important for me to share it today in this topic, because I feel as though that it's always, always important for us to learn from others. It's always important for us to just be honest with ourselves, try to figure out who we really are. What is really the root problem that we're dealing with on a daily basis? We really need to love ourselves first before we can love anyone or expect anyone to love us. We just need to really show up for ourselves and become the best part of us that we can be as an individual. Get into that root. What is it that has me in this standstill? I know what trauma I've been through. I'm sure you're probably saying that right now as you're listening to me. You're probably saying, well, Jeannie, I think I know myself, or I know what happened to me. You're telling me that I don't know what happened to me. You don't know, or I don't know what trauma has me going through this depression or this anxiety or me having this addiction because of something, this trauma that I've been going through. No, I get it. And like I've always said, and I'll say it always, your trauma, your pain, your addiction, your triggers, all that is real. I'm not saying it's not. It's real. It's real. And I know it, and I get it. And I know that sometimes no matter what I say or no matter what anyone else says to you, it's not going to change what happened to you. And I get it. I get it. It's hard. I can't say that, okay, I understand everybody's pain because I'm not feeling it. But what I do know, that is real. I do know that trauma that you're dealing with, whether it's a mental illness that the trauma has put you into, or whether it's an addiction that trauma has put you into, I know it's real. I know it. Because no one wants to be in these situations. No one wants to be in this pain. No one wants to live life like this on a day-to-day basis. But because of that trauma that we're holding on to, that trauma that we can't move out of our minds, we continue to push it back, but really don't open up to ourselves, or don't open up to others and let them cross that boundary and help us out. We become our worst enemy. We sabotage ourselves in a lot of ways, and I know that a lot of people can't understand that. I know it. And I wish that I could make this understandable to everybody. And I know that I'm not going to be able to do that, because I know that everyone learns and grasp information in a different way. But I'm hoping that I really am helping you with this topic today. I'm really helping you with this episode. If I'm not answering your questions, if I'm not giving you those answers that you really want to hear because you're going through this situation, reach out to me. Because like I said, I know your pain, your trauma, whether it's brought you into a mental illness or it's brought you into an addiction, is real. I know it. And I'm here to help you. But what I need, to know is just please, try to find out why you're in that standstill. I know you overloaded your brain. I know that's for a fact. I get it because it happens. You're just thinking over and over, and it's just sitting there. So now your nervous system has put you in that same survival mode of a standstill. But you got to figure this out. You have to figure this out. You got to figure out, how can I move from this cell? How can I move on? Because life is going to move. It's going to continue to move. Your daily basis, you're going to continue to go to sleep and you're going to continue to wake up. Life continues to move. But I want you to be able to move also in life, but in a healthy way. And the way that you're going to be able to do that is to really just take a pause, take a minute. And instead of feeding to your brain the continued same scenario, the same story, the same words that are running through your mind over and over because of the situation that happened to you, this trauma that you're in, I need you to try to almost manipulate it. And when I say manipulate, I want you to start thinking different. I want you to start doing different things, doing different activities. Reach out for the help if you haven't. That's a start. Talk to someone if you haven't. That's a start. Talking to that person or opening up to reach out for help is going to get you to the next step. Where you're going to be able to have a plan put in place for you. Where, yes, life is going to continue. It's going to move on. You're going to go to sleep and you're going to wake up and the next day's going to come. But that next day's going to come with a different vibe. You're going to you're healing. You're opening up. You're going to start doing things in a different way. Your emotions are going to be different. You're going to always have emotions. We're going to always have emotions, whether they're good or bad. We're built on emotions, and we're allowed to have them. But you're going to learn how to use coping skills to help you with these emotions. And that's really what life is all about. Even people that don't have mental illness or have an addiction, their emotions are controlled because they learned and trained themselves how to deal with different situations. And that's life. Even myself, I've been educated to deal with these situations with a mental illness or drug and addiction, but I've never had that myself. I've never dealt with that myself eternally or mentally. But I've had help a mental illness situation and a drug and addiction situation for over 15 years. I've dealt with it. I went to school and got educated because I want to help others. So that part, I have done. So, I can say right now, yeah, I know your pain is real. But I've never felt it, so I can't say I understand it in that way, but I do understand it on what different people, different individuals put themselves into. Their brain turns their nervous system into different situations because we're all built on the brain and the nervous system. Our body is just built like that. And, we have to try to train ourselves, because when we're training ourselves and we're feeding this information into our brain, we're training our brain. And whatever you train your brain, you feed your brain, it's going to come out with your nervous system. Your body, your emotions, your reactions are going to react to whatever you're storing in your brain. And I know it's hard for some people. I know it is. It's hard to wrap around these things when you're stuck. But I want you to just go ahead and just take a little bit of time every day. A little bit of time. Doesn't have to be a lot, just a little step every day. And try to feed it to your brain. Say it out loud, like, I'm no longer going to live like this. I want positive vibes, positive energy. From now on, I'm going to start doing this. From now on, Instead of going out just twice a week, I'm going to go out 3 or 4 times a week. Now I'm going to go ahead and contact my loved ones that I've been away for so long. I'm going to start interacting more with my community, or I'm going to start doing more with my family, period. I'm going to let that loved one back into my life that's been reaching out to me, but I've been pushing them away. Those kind of things, I want you to start feeding that into your mind. Start putting those good energy, those good vibes back into your spirit. That's going to start pushing your nervous system and your brain into a whole different level. It's going to start feeding off of this good energy. It's going to start feeding off of your good thoughts. It's going to start feeding on how you're reacting. And that numbness and that stillness is going to start fading away, and you're going to start being this whole different person that you've been looking for. Because you're no longer going to be in that standstill, because you're no longer feeding that into your brain. Your nervous system is no longer getting that back from your brain. You're getting a different reaction, because now it's reacting to what you're doing. Now it's going to start reacting up until what you're saying to yourself. That's what I'm trying to say when I tell you that I need you to start manipulating on what you're going through on a daily basis. Don't stop taking medication if you're on medication. That's part of your healing. If you're seeing a psychiatrist, you're seeing a counselor, or you're going to meetings, continue doing that, because that's part of your healing. But at the same time, start incorporating different other things so that your healing is being seen and your nervous system is letting go little by little. It's fading away. The standstill, the pause where you're feeling like you're stuck. That's going to start fading away, because you're feeding into your body, you're feeding into your brain. Your actions are being different, you're being positive. You're grabbing all this good energy that you're bringing back into your life. Because life is what you make it to be on a daily basis. And I don't want people to take that wrong, because I know some people are going to say, well, my life is messed up right now. What are you trying to say? I made my life messed up? No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, when we push ourselves to do different things, we make things happen. Sometimes we have to push ourselves to the limit, when we want to get something done. You might say, okay, so what's the limit, Jeannie? Well, what I mean is, if you're in a standstill right now, reach out for that help. Don't stop getting that help until you get where you want to get to. If you're going to meetings, stay in the meeting until the end. Maybe you can deal with that meeting for 5 or 10 minutes. No, push yourself. Stay in that meeting to the end of the meeting. Talk to people after your meeting. Push yourself to talk to people at this meeting. If you're seeing a therapist, but you feel as though you and that therapist just don't really hit, y'all just hitting heads right now. Like you're saying, oh, that therapist, she ain't helping me. I just can't. I don't like this therapist. I need to find me a different one. Push yourself with this therapist to the limit. Make sure that it really is that you really can't do things with her. Make sure that it's not you just trying to get away from reality or what she's telling you to do. Or maybe she's pushing you and trying to do different things and you're scared to do them. Do the things first. Try it out for a little bit before you give up on yourself. That's what I'm saying. We have to learn how to really just push ourselves so that our bodies, our minds, our brains, our body, and our soul can really start reacting the way that we want it to react. I know life is not easy. Life is not easy for no one. Even if you don't have a mental illness or an addiction, life is not easy. Life throws at us a lot of different curves. Sometimes it's good curves. Because healing and recovery, that's good. Those are good curves. But we got to make sure that we stay focused and consistent with these good curves that we get in life. If you're in healing, you want to stay consistent with your plan. Continue it until you get where you want to get to. And even after that, even when you become healed and healthy and you live in life every day where you want to live it, remember that you was healing. Never forget that you was through a healing process. So you want to stay focused and make sure that you stay in line with what you need to do to stay healthy. Just like with an addiction, if you in recovery and you're going to your meetings and you done hit 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is, always remember you was recovered. And always stay focused on what you need to do and never do that curve to the way you was at before. So we got to stay focused with life. Life is a roller coaster sometimes, and I get it. And like I said, it's not just for the ones that are all messed up right now in life, or you feel as though you're all messed up because you got this illness you can't get rid of. Your anxiety is kicking your butt. This depression just has you where you're stuck. You're not doing nothing. This addiction has you fading away every day more and more. I get it. But the most important thing, if there's anything that you take today from this talk that we're having, is that we have to show up for ourselves. We have to really understand who we are. We have to really understand, what do we want? What do we want out of life? What are we trying to get to? What is the cause? What is the root of the reason why that I'm dealing with right now? What is this depression? Why? Like, would I continue to feed myself every day? What am I thinking about every day? What's bothering me so much that I'm putting myself in the darkness every day? And how can I help myself with this? You have to really, really want to help yourself for someone else to help you. Because in life, it's sadly to say, no one's going to make that change for you until you step one foot forward first and start it. After that, once you reach out and you reach out for that help, then I'm sure there's going to be plenty of people out there that's going to want to help you. And my team is one. And I'm sure you have someone in your circle right now that as soon as you put one foot forward, they're going to be there to just walk right through this journey with you, side to side. I know it because there's always that one person in our life that stands by our side, whether we're wrong, whether we're right. We always have that one person in our life. Sometimes we don't realize it because our mind is all over the place. With the mental illness, sometimes we think that everything is against us, so we don't really have that trust in no one. Or when you're on this, addiction, we see life in a different way, so we don't think no one loves us. We're in this situation because no one loves us. But the truth is, there is that person in your life that really loves you and is just waiting for you to really want to get help, so they can help you and walk with you in this journey, heal with you, and see you happy. Because right now, they might be smiling, they might be with you 200% all the time, they might be standing by you even though you're wrong at times. They're still there by you. They don't give up on you. If you're right, they're still there. They're, what I say, they're eating at the same plate with you regardless, because they love you. And there might be times that sometimes you feel as though that person really is not loving you, or that person is not really wanting to see you get better, or they really not supporting you. But you know what? What it really is that they don't want to cross that boundary yet. They want to make sure that you're ready to get help. Because sometimes when we are rushed too much into healing too fast, or we're rushed into recovering from an addiction too fast, we slip. And we slip back into relapsing. We slip back into that dark hole, whatever illness we were dealing with. We slip back into that addiction all over again. Because why? Because we were rushed into something that we really wasn't ready to do. We slipped into that because we were doing it just to make someone else happy. We were rushed into it because we just didn't want to hear it no more from this person who's been on us over and over to get help. And that's why I said that in order for you to really, really heal healthy, you have to really want it within yourself to get help. That's really, really the honest way and the best way to heal from a mental illness or an addiction, is really you wanting to really heal, you really wanting to get that help. You making that first step, reaching out to whether it's a loved one to support you on this situation, or reaching out to a professional or an organization to get the help. You have to really want to do that. And I guarantee you it's going to be a healthy healing. But it has to be within you. And with that being said, like I said, I say to everybody that I know I come in contact with, we have to really learn different ways that we can help ourselves when we're alone. Something really quick that you can do, 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whether it's at 3 o'clock in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, or 12 o'clock in the afternoon. But a lot of us, I know that most of the time we're by ourselves, or we might be at work around people that we don't really know, or we're just out in the community dealing with people that we really don't have that trust with. Sometimes if you come across that you're really anxious, your nerves are all over the place, your mind just starts hitting, you got to start drinking some water because you feel as though you can't breathe right now because right now your anxiety is kicking your butt for something, I don't know. You might have thought something real quick, you might have seen something real quick, or somebody might have just said something triggered you. I want to just give you tools and resources for that to help you out in those instances so that we can just come back and continue whatever it is that we were doing at that moment, So, please try my breathing methods of just inhale and hold it a little bit, and just exhale and let go whatever was just bothering you that put you into that mood. Just let it out. Calm your nerve down, Walk away from wherever you're at for that moment, or just do it mentally. Walk away, do it mentally and just try to calm yourself. Breathe in and just exhale it. If you're somewhere where you can't get away, or, people around you, but you don't want them to realize you're going through something, see if there's somewhere you can just grab a cup of water or get something real quick, there's something to drink around you or something. Maybe if you're out, just try to get something real quick, buy it real quick, drink something. Or ask somebody for a little bit of water or something to drink to help you just calm down. These are little things that we have to really learn how to take in and try to remember to do, and these things just sneak up on us, and we're out somewhere that we're not home, or we're home by ourselves, and we just want to try to calm ourselves down before we panic too much and start really, really falling into a panic attack. And if you're listening right now and this is really resonating with you, but you would really like to get some more information on this staying still with your nervous system because of being traumatized, please reach out to me. I don't have something yet on my site about this because I just put this together this morning after talking to someone yesterday. I was able to get some information together this morning and put it together. So I don't have an ebook or anything out there on this yet. I will be having it in a couple of days because I want to put it together and put it out there for my community also, and for the person that asked me for this information. But I will have it in a couple of days. If it's something else that you wanted me to get for you, please reach out to me. I'll put it together. Myself or a team member will put it together and get it out to you. And I also want to say, I know someone anonymously didn't leave their name or anything, but text me through my chat on my website asking for an ebook on panic attacks, because I know I was talking about that the other day on one of my episodes, and I'm sure they must have seen it on one of the episodes. They asked me for the ebook, and I guess you were texting me through my chat. You weren't vocally, you weren't leaving me the messages, voice messages or anything. You didn't email, you were actually texting me through our number, which is also, let everybody know, you can also text me through our 800 toll-free number. That is a textable number. You can text me through that too. This individual, you were texting me through our toll-free number, but I think you must have misspelled your email address, because we tried emailing you the book on panic attacks and how to deal with them on a daily basis, but the ebook came back undeliverable because of your email address. I'm sure you know, I'm hoping that you are listening to me right now. I don't have a name because you did it anonymously. You just sent us, you just text me your email address and what you were looking for. We do have the book for you, and I have some other things for you also. I tried to get them out to you, but it came back undeliverable. So please just check on your phone, look at how you spelled your email address, because I'm sure that the typo is in the address that you sent to me. You texted over to me, but it's incorrect. Please get it over to me correctly so I can get all that information over to you. We have it all ready for you. We have the ebook that you requested. I also have some more information that I think that you can benefit from that would be sent out to you as soon as you sent us the correct email address. Again, you can stay anonymous. You don't have to tell us your name, because I know that's how you text me the information. But please look at the email address that you sent me make the corrections there and resent it over to me, and I will get that, and I will send that out to you as soon as you give me that information and it's correct. And I also want to say thank you to everyone that has been supporting me, really, really giving us so much feedback on this that we've been doing, not just for my podcast, but just some stuff in general, stuff that I've been doing. I want to say thank you to everyone that has been giving me amazing, so much feedback, even stuff that's helping me figure out on new things that I can bring up. Thank you, because like I said, if it's helping you, it might help others, and I want to say thank you. You know who you are. That sent me tons and tons of information of what you've been going through, what you've been seeing is helping you, and you shared it with me so I can share with others that are going through the same situation with you. And I want to say thank you. I know you said it was a lot of information, but you know what? It was a lot of very good information that it's not going to go to waste, because I'm putting stuff together today on all that information that you shared with me. It's information that's really, really priceless, and I want to say thank you to you for sending me all that information. And I'm really happy that things are going well for you, and you're trying to help others now with the information that you have shared, and I want to say thank you to you for that. Also, if you are familiar with my organization, you've been listening to my podcasts, or you've been following me on social media, or you've just been coming in contact with me in my community or in my events, or just contacting me yourself, I want to say thank you. But like I always say, no matter how big my team is, no matter how really involved we are on a day-to-day basis, will never be enough. Because like I said, these numbers of mental illness and addiction are rising by the second. Every time I look at it, I can look at it right now. We can look at it together right now, and I promise you, you look at those numbers in 2 minutes, or when I'm done this podcast, those numbers will be totally different. And it's very sad, it's very heartbreaking to really know that right now we don't have enough help out there. There's not enough resources out there. There's not a lot of tools and resources. Not enough. Not enough. No matter how big my team is or somebody else's team, it's just not enough. Because, worldwide, we are suffering with this mental illness and drug and addiction worldwide. And it's just needed so much. As we're talking right now, we're losing someone to a mental illness. We're losing someone to an addiction right now while we're talking. Someone's taking their life. Someone's ODing on something, on something right now. I wish I could help them, but like I said, reality is I can't help everyone. That person or these individuals might have not came in contact with our organization, might have not never even heard of us. We can't help them if they don't know about us. A lot of these individuals, they can't get help if they don't know where to go, if they don't know that they have support out there. They can't get the help that they want. If they don't know, they don't know. And that's the part where I'm saying, if your heart is in it and you want to help out with mental illness, or you want to help out with drug and addiction, and you want to volunteer, whether you're across the country or you're here in my community, please reach out. Let's make this movement strong. Let's help these individuals, because it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about them. It's about letting them know that they can reach out. There's help out there. There's resources out there for them. There's a light at the end of the tunnel for them. There is healing. There is recovery. And I want them to know that. But unless we get this information out to them, they're not going to know. It's just like us. Unless we educate ourselves and we figure things out, we don't know. It's just part of life. We can't do and we can't react on something and we have no idea on. We don't know. We're not educated. We're not immature on that right now. You're not mature. You're immature because you're not understanding life. And that's just the way life is. And that's how it is with these individuals. Unless they know that there's someone out there that wants to help them, or there is a phone number, there's a toll-free number that they can call, they're not going to know unless they know the number. And the only way that we're going to be able to get this information out worldwide is just everybody getting together. and really pushing this through the vibe, pushing this through, letting people know, sharing this with people. So it doesn't matter where in the world you're at. No matter where you're sitting at right now, you can help. Because thank God I was able to make this tools and these resources worldwide. I pushed and pushed until I was able to have my tools and resources in place and be able to offer it worldwide. It wasn't easy, but I did it. Why? Because I knew that not just helping my community was enough. I knew that I had to make that broader. I need to help more. I need to make this worldwide. And I kept pushing until I was able to do it. And I did it. I'm here. I'm worldwide. I'm able to help worldwide, and I'm happy to say that. But it's still not enough. It's not enough. So if you're across the country or you're sitting right here next to me, my neighbor, whoever you are, if you're wanting to really do this and volunteer and bring your time on to help, please reach out. Let's help these individuals together. Let's make this movement strong. Where things are not just falling through the cracks, but we're not losing people by the second. We're not going to be able to help everybody. We're going to help them, though. Let's do this. Sitting still and being quiet and keeping everything silent, it's not going to change the world. It's not going to change what's going on with these beautiful souls. It's not going to change. We can make a change. Let's do this. If you're listening to me, you're trying to figure out, what? Should I really get involved in this or shouldn't I? And like I'm telling you right now, it's not about me. It's not about you. It's about them. And if your heart is in helping, come on, let's do this. So if you're a licensed therapist, if you're a licensed counselor, you're a licensed social worker, or you just want to be an advocate, you just want to help, in whichever way you can, reach out to us. Let's make this happen. It's hard. It's hard for these individuals. They go to sleep like this, they wake up like this, they live life through this all day long. The same way that we wake up, we want to be happy, we want to share these healthy lives with our family, with our loved ones. We want to go on vacation, we want to do this, we want to do that, but we thinking that we always thinking positive. We always got all these good vibes and these good thoughts we want to do with ourselves and our loved ones. But you know what? These people that are in this dark, they want the same thing. They want the same thing out of life. But unfortunately, there's things that happen in their life that's not letting them do it. It's not letting them be able to live that life like we want to live it every day. I can go to many vacations that I want, but you know what? Vacations and all that, I could care less about. Because you know why? What makes me happy is knowing that I'm helping someone. I don't have to be sitting here on this podcast. I don't even be sitting in the chair. I could be sitting somewhere. I could be anywhere in the world right now I can go to. But that's not what I want to do. I could care less. Vacations or, doing this and doing that. No. My journey and my purpose right now is to help someone live a good life. Someone to get away from that mental illness. Someone to get away from that addiction. That's what I want to do. And I'm not getting back nothing from it because I'm not asking nobody for nothing. My services are free. My team, they're not asking me for nothing. They all volunteers. So it's not that I'm saying I'm sitting here doing this every day to ask you for something. Well, I'm going to make some money off of this. I ain't making nothing off of this. I'm doing this because I want to do it. And I'm not booking that vacation time because I don't want to do vacation. Vacation is not what I want right now. Now you tell me let's go on this plane because there's someone across the world that needs our help. I'm going to get on that plane. I don't care where it is in the world. If I need to get on a plane right now because someone needs my help, and the only way they're going to get that help is me jumping on the plane and meeting them where they're at in their journey, I'm going to do it. That plane, I will get on a heartbeat. If someone invites me on a vacation that I know I can pay for with my eyes closed, or have my whole team go on a vacation if I want with my eyes closed. That's not what's interesting to me right now. My interest is that I know that I'm helping someone and I'm going to save someone from taking their life or someone from ODing. That's what I want to do. So if you're across the world, I don't care where you at, reach out to me. Because if I had to jump on a plane to get to where you need to get you the help that you need to get, because my agency or my team can't help you, I'm going to do it. Because even if it's just one person that I help, that's enough for me. And if you feel the same way, if you're a person that wants to volunteer or individual that's not dealing with a mental illness or an addiction, and you want to come on and you want to help me out with this and make this movement strong and help just as much as I do, really from the heart, from your body, from your soul, Because this is coming out of my soul. I'm telling you that right now. I breathe and eat this. So if you really in this really 100% like me, 200% like me, not even 100, 200% like me, you reach out to me. We're going to make this happen. We're going to make it happen even if you're across the country or not. Because I'll come across the country and meet you. You want to make this happen with me? I'll come across the country and meet you. And put this together even stronger than what I have it right now. But, I just need to let people know that, it's not about us. It's not about me. It's not about me. My life is put together already. I'm living my life the way I want it on a daily basis. But I'm trying to help that individual person that can't live the life that they want because of what's happened to them in their life. Not because they asked for it, because no one asked for this kind of life. Anyone dealing with mental illness, they didn't ask for that kind of life. Anyone that's dealing with an addiction, they didn't ask for that. Those are the ones that are important to me right now. Those are the ones that I need to help. Because I want them to live the life that they want to live. I want them to get the help that they need. I want them to see the results that they want. That's what I'm saying I'm here for today. That's what my podcast is about. That's what my organization is about. With that being said, I'm hoping that this really helps someone out. I know I'm a little raw sometimes. I really get deep in it because I just really want people to understand that this is real. This is something real that I come on this podcast every day, not to play games, not to sugarcoat anything, not to say what I think people want to hear. No. I'm not sitting here to make someone else happy. I'm not sitting here because I want to talk and get where people are seeing me and become popular. Like everybody on social media right now, they just want to get all these selfies and all these things because they want people to see. No, that's not who Jeannie Perez is. That's not who You're Not Alone is about. I'm on this podcast coming live because I want to help somebody. I want to be able to hope that my episodes is hitting home for somebody. Whether it's the individual that needs help or someone that's going to help somebody else with this information. That's what I'm here for. I'm not here for nothing else. So please, if you're an individual that needs help, reach out to me. Because, like I said, if I can't help you, if my team can't help you, I'm going to find that help for you. I'm going to get you where you need to get to, and I'm going to be the support you never had in your life. Believe me. I'm going to be the support that you've been praying for. Your prayer has just been answered. You reach out to me. And if you're a person that's helping someone through something like this, please, if you're not understanding this, or this is just becoming too overwhelmed for you, where you feel as though you're getting ready to have a breakdown yourself, reach out to me. Because I'm going to help you out too. I'm going to get you where you need to get to yourself, so that everyone in your circle can be healthy. With that being said, I just want to say thank you to everyone again. Thank you for joining me. We're having an amazing result on our platforms with iHeartRadio, with the Apple apps, Spotify. I want to say thank you so much. Because I can't do it without you. You are the ones that are going on these platforms, going on the radio, listening to me, because I know I'm on FM now. I want to say thank you for turning on that FM channel all the time, listening to me. My numbers can't be going up on that if it ain't because of you. So I can't do this without you, and I want to say thank you for supporting me on this. I'm going to end this with my statement like always. It's okay to not be okay, because it is. No matter what is going on with you right now and you feel as though things are not going your way, you're not feeling the way you want to feel, it's okay to not be okay. It's okay. It happens. It's okay. But what's not okay, and I really want you to listen to this, even if you have to rewind this, I want you to know what's not okay for you or anybody, not for myself, not for anybody, is to ever think that you have to struggle in silence, in the dark, alone. Never. Because I'm here. And I'm going to always be here. And if I'm not here, my team's going to always be here. Thank you. Bless you. And take care until I hear from you or see you again. Hopefully it's in my podcast tomorrow at 6 o'clock. Unfortunately, it is raining where I'm at today. So I'm not going to be able to do my yoga again. I'm going to have to figure this out because I'm not going to continue to cancel my yoga and meditation. I know a lot of you really need that reset at the end of the day, and I truly apologize. I'm going to probably have to start fixing out a spot in my home, which I really didn't want to do because I know my family is private. I don't like to bring my family and my home into the things that I do, but unfortunately, and I like to do my stuff outdoors. Nature is beautiful when it comes to restoring yourself and doing the meditation. But I promise I'm going to figure this out because if we're going to continue to have these bad days, I'm going to figure it out. My home is large enough where I can just grab a little space and do this meditation with you. I promise you I'm going to get it done. Again, thank you and hope to see you again soon. Take care.